The guy opened up his accounts. I see $400 million in one account, and that changed my life. I want some money. What's my target for the money? All goals to me are targets. So I've started all these little businesses from nothing. I'd seen poverty my whole life. I'd seen my mom suffer trying to get by, trying to just pay bills, worried that everybody's gonna rip her off. We're Italian immigrants that came to this country.
You're a very, very accomplished, incredibly talented businessman. This is a challenge that I think citizen journalists have these days. How do you make money telling the truth without being corrupted by the influences of advertising, of companies trying to tell you what to do?
I have no advertisers. I've never had an advertiser. I've never had any third party pay me to do anything.
And so you're independent. You don't have to be beholden to anybody, is what you're saying.
No, so I get to say what I want, do what I want.
That takes a lot of balls to just call someone up and just go for it.
People don't want to make money. No, I don't want to work here. 76% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. So the education system's failed them. They've been indoctrinated to stay poor. They've been indoctrinated to give money to the banks. Why can't journalism be profitable?
If anyone figures it out, they'll be a billionaire.
People closest to you will prevent you from getting what you want.
So you have to surround yourself with the right people. But I see people in this country are very afraid.
They're afraid, bro, because we educate them to be afraid.
We educate them to be afraid.
We indoctrinate kids to be
in high school, college.
Be careful. Like, it ain't racism, dude, it's fear. Fear is instilled in the public.
Not a week goes by without a news headline about potential medical supply shortages, threats to our infrastructure or power grid. And you remember what they pulled during the last pandemic. Certain medications were mysteriously out of stock. No way will I ever let that happen again. In today's unpredictable world, it's all about being prepared for who knows what they have in store for the next pandemic. Our friends and supporters at the Wellness Company have designed this unique, prescription-based medical emergency kit that is packed with 8 potentially life-saving prescription-only medications, including Z-Pak and ivermectin, which I used myself while out on the road and starting to feel a bit under the weather. Health is everything, and this is a great opportunity to order a Wellness Company Medical Emergency Kit. The Wellness Company Medical Emergency Kit stands ready to treat over 30 common ailments, ensuring you'll have access to vital medications when you need them most. And now save $45 per kit when you order using the code OMG. Get ready to write this down. Get your Wellness Company Medical Emergency Kit at twc.health/OMG. That's twc.health/OMG. That's twc.health/OMG. And save $45 per kit today when you use code OMG. Hello everyone, James O'Keefe here in Miami, Florida for a special edition of the OMG podcast. We're here today with Grant Cardone, who first interviewed me, and now I'm going to interview him, talking about finance, journalism, business strategy, hiring. So Grant, we talked about targeting people, and I call them subjects, and you say target. What does that mean?
I target individuals. Like, my whole life I've lived off of targets. So
how so?
I want some money. What's my target for the money? Okay, I want a car. What's my target for the car? I want a girl. What's the target for the girl? What exactly does that target look like? Where would that person live? How do I accomplish that? All goals to me are targets.
That's right? True.
So I've started all these little businesses from nothing. I knew my target was not to be where I'm at, but to be some other place. So the more clearly I can define the target, the destination, the subject, I want to accomplish, the better.
Well, it seems like in my work, it's like the public's right to know. And what I'm trying to figure out, and maybe you're really good at this.
In my world, it's my right to have.
Right to have. And are the two things compatible? Like the journalism media thing and then the right to have, the capitalist. Do you think that they're compatible? Because that's what I'm trying.
Yeah, sure, dude. It's, everything that I've accomplished, I did without knowing anything. So I had to do a lot of undercover work. Mm-hmm. It's easy because nobody knew me. Mm-hmm. But I have to do undercover work when I'm with a guy he's worth $4 billion, and I figured out how to spend some time with him in his life because I didn't want his money. That's his money. I wanted his intelligence. Mm-hmm. I wanted him to open up his checkbook and show it to me, which was literally my target. After being with this cat for about 15 days, he's like, okay, so what do you want? And I'm like, really?
To learn from you.
I said, I want to learn from you. He's like, okay, well, that's happening. Mm-hmm. Maybe. That's up to you. He said, but what else do you want? I said, really what I want? I just want to see how much money is in your account. That was the fascination to me. The guy opened up his account, said, yeah, no problem. Bang, I see Merrill Lynch, I see Fidelity, I see Bank of America. I see $400 million in one account, and that changed my life. I was like, okay, that's real, that can happen.
How did that change your life? You were inspired
Because it was real, dude. It was real. I'd seen poverty my whole life. I'd seen my mom suffer trying to get by, trying to just pay bills, worried that everybody's going to rip her off. We're Italian immigrants, came to this country, you're Irish. So you know that whole struggle from a generations ago.
Was that your parents, grandparents came?
My parents, grandparents, yeah.
Yeah, and you're Italian?
Yeah.
And you're where are they? Your parents settled down here? Where? When?
Louisiana. A lot of Italians came in through Louisiana. People don't know that, but
I did not know that.
Yeah.
So you saw that money and it inspired you to do great things.
no. It's inspired me to get rich.
To get rich.
So now doing great things happens to be my moral compass. I don't want to get rich and not feel good about it.
Do you do the great things in order to get rich, or do you get rich in order to do great things, or how does that work for you?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, is it the money first? I didn't have any money, so I did good things. I've been helping. Like I went to a treatment center for drug addiction when I was 25 years old.
How old are you now?
I'm 65.
65.
Yeah. And so 40 years ago, I quit using drugs, and I started cleaning my life up. There was no. You know, when you're a drug addict, you cannot focus on subjects or targets or accomplishments or missions. You're a drug.
What led you to become a drug addict?
When I was 15, when I was 10, my dad died, and I wanted my uncles to come help me. I was looking for some guy to come help me, kind of guide me as an 11-year-old, 12-year-old. And then at 15, my wishes came true. Danny, the local drug dealer, says, "I'll be your daddy.
I'll be your daddy."
I'll be your daddy. I'll give you all the freaking mentoring you want." And bang, next thing you know,
Did he give you those for free? Did you have to pay for them? Was there something you owed him?
No, he just come under my tutelage, you know, and this is how drug addicts are made in every city in America.
I see.
Somebody will always mentor you. There's plenty of mentors. There's mentorship available. Every community has mentorship. There's no shortage of mentorships. Now, the question is, what kind of mentor? And so that's what I got and then I went down the drug. Now, that was my choice. I'm not blaming my drug addiction on him. I went down a nasty slope, spent 10 years as a drug addict. And then at 25, I'm like, enough. I got to clean up. And then I started rebuilding my life. My subject then, you call it a subject, I call it a target. I can't use drugs anymore. One day at a time,
So how did you, that's not easy to.
So I did two things. I threw myself into my work. All I did was work every day because drugs weren't really my problem. It was too much time. Okay, I just had too much time. If you give me bad choices, I was making them. So I said, okay, I'm going to wake up in the morning. I'm going to work at a job I hate. And if I'm not working, getting better at the job I hate, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to help somebody. And that's all I did every day for 5 years.
So you just grinded it out.
Grinded. I'm still grinding today, dude. I'm a grinder.
For 40 years.
For 40
Something
years.
like that.
I grind.
And in that moment, because that's not an easy thing to overcome. I think
Yeah.
Mike Lindell may have overcome something similar. The way that you get through that is you just focus on the day and working that day and just grinding it out.
Yeah, day at a time.
And then when the temptation and to go back to that old lifestyle, how did you deal with that temptation?
Well, you just kill off all the temptations, right? So you stay out of the clubs, you stay out of the bars, you stay away from the people.
You just don't go there.
You cut off. No, you don't. You lost the choice. Like you know, people talk about weed. Like I would never use weed again. I was not addicted to weed, but weed would. I didn't drink alcohol for 21 years because alcohol
Gateway
made me weak enough that the next thing you know, I'm hanging around the same people. So in the beginning, I just had to be extremely disciplined. But you have to want to quit, dude. And I had a target. That was the target. The target was clean up my life, get my self-respect right. Very goal-driven, very short-term goal-driven.
Short-term goals.
Very short-term.
And you break down, like, because I'm fascinated by what you do, because I am a journalist, but I'm also an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And the challenge that I'm having, to quote someone at ABC News who told me into a hidden camera a couple years ago, that the commercial imperative is incompatible with journalism. In other words, like, no one has figured out how to make money doing deep dive investigative journalism because capitalism is all about profit, and what I do is expensive and risky.
Yeah.
So I just wanted your advice.
I would tell you, and I told you this a year ago when I had you on X Spaces. You get the two targets confused. Okay? So if you've ever been skeet shooting, right? Two targets go up in the air. You got to pick one. You can't pick them both. I mean, unless you're really, really good. You got to pick one target. So I know that if I was in journalism, I would raise hundreds of millions of dollars.
How would you do that?
Because I would separate the two targets between telling the story and raising the money.
I see.
And you don't do that. You would rather tell the story than raise the money. I've seen it. I've witnessed it multiple times. I try to stop you. You don't even see what I'm telling you to do. I'm like, you're going to hit that kid in the street. And you're like, you don't even see the kid.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're so lost in your story and telling the story of journalism and how it unfolded and what happened. And like you get so caught up in it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That you forget, okay, now you got to put another hat on now and raise the money.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, how do you?
You briefly do it. Oh, go to omg.com. But it's not enough.
Yeah. You really.
The guy's still in the story.
Yeah.
He's still in the story, and then you're trying to say, oh, no, and by the way, go to, it's a very tricky thing to do. You have to literally move the audience from your story, stop,
profit,
time out. Hey guys, now I need you to.
Yes, it's like advertising almost.
1,000.
Yeah.
It's marketing. It's storytelling. It's promotion. It's advertising.
Do you think there's
and it's sales?
But do you think
okay?
I've watched all these companies in business and these television, ABC News owned by Disney. Disney seems kind of corrupt these days. I witnessed CNN.
So you're doing it right now?
Fire the CEO.
So you went back into the story.
But I'm getting to a point.
Yeah.
I'm asking for advice. You're a
yeah.
very, very accomplished, incredibly talented businessman. So I'm curious your thoughts on this.
Yeah.
Because this is a challenge that I think citizen journalists have these days. Is how do you make money telling the truth without being corrupted by the influences of these of advertising, of companies trying to tell you what to do. Your thoughts?
So we do these big events, okay? I have no advertisers. I've never had an advertiser. I've never had any third party pay me to do anything. We raised those events do, I don't know, 30 or 40 million bucks a year. Mm-hmm. No AT&T, nobody advertises.
What's the revenue stream?
Okay, people pay to come to this event. So we put on a beautiful event. Mm-hmm. Okay, we're the only people in the world that do this event profitably without an advertiser.
Why is that?
I'll tell you. So I've also raised $1.2 billion crowdfunding real estate transactions without an ad budget and no sponsorship. I don't do business with any of the banks. No, I don't get money like other syndicators like me. You have competition. Everybody's got competition. I don't go to the kings and queens, Wall Street for money. I go crowdsource it. I've probably been the most successful crowdfunder on planet Earth today.
What do you attribute that to?
I know my targets.
You know your audience.
I know specifically what my target is for that business. Okay, those are separate businesses. An event business, target is a target. Mm-hmm. It's a target. You brought this up. First question was, hey man, you're accused of targeting groups of people. Of course.
I see.
Hey man, this is a group of white men, 32 years old, that are not married. That's a different group than females that are 32 years old. They want different things. They have different conversations. The two together, once you put the two together, the target changes again. You go from Instagram to YouTube, same person. James O'Keefe is on Instagram watching Reels and then moves to watch a football game, or you go to church this weekend because you're Catholic. Completely different James O'Keefe.
So
you have different intentions when you go to these places.
You're saying you know these audiences. You know all about them. You know your marketing.
I need to know what changes with you when you go to church to when you go put your mask on, you doing undercover in Tucson, or you're hanging out with me today.
Yeah.
You become a different person, even though you're the same person.
Right.
Your wallet changes,
People
your money
change
changes,
when they
your
go
finance
different.
changes.
Yeah.
Your intentions, your thoughts, everything.
Yeah.
Your personality actually shifts and change when you move from Twitter Spaces to Instagram to YouTube.
And that's your expertise. Is knowing.
We're figuring it out. I'm trying to learn how to do it without kissing the ring of the king.
Well, you and I are alike in that way.
Yeah.
And so you're independent. You don't have to be beholden to anybody, is what you're saying.
No. So I get to say what I want, do what I want. I get to risk it, and if it blows up in my face.
But has it blown up in your face yet?
Yeah, I mean, I get a lot of heat for being brash. I'm sure you get this. Arrogant, appearing arrogant to the public because I'm convinced I know.
Do you think that's envy? A lot of it, or
I mean, I don't know. No, I mean, I think I say it wrong. I think I do not. I think I do project in a way that makes other people not feel good. I don't think I'm good like that. I think I create some of that problem myself.
do you think that you're arrogant or confident or both? Because you asked me that.
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
It's a good question.
No, I think I appear arrogant. I don't think I'm really that confident. But once I figure out a formula that works, I'm gonna double down on it. I'm just gonna keep playing the hand out, regardless of what the public says.
So you're 60.
Because my target's not the people that say no to me. By the way, it's the people that say yes.
You focus on the ones you can sell, not the ones you can't.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good. That's a good strategy.
And once I get that guy to say yes, I'm going back to him again.
But if someone takes a meeting or stays on the phone with you, that's pretty much a yes, right? It's like if they obtain, if you're I work in nonprofit fundraising.
Yeah, I don't want to tell you anything about this story, James. I don't want to tell you. Well, you know she's telling you. The more, and by the way, the more she probably tells you, I don't want to tell you anything about the story.
Yeah.
I can't talk about it. I can't talk about it. I can't talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, but you're talking about it right now.
Yeah, that's right.
By saying you can't talk about
That's
it.
right.
Right?
That's right. Now, I want to talk to you about sales because at Veritas, I had to raise $24 million a year, and I started my dad's attic. So I have had to ask people for money. I find it fascinating. The one thing I most enjoy about sales is I get to know people. I get to figure out what their business is like, and it gets me back to my vision.
Yeah.
Because I'm so in the weeds doing the thing,
story.
and then I get back into the 30,000 talking to these brilliant businessmen.
Yeah.
And I noticed you gave me a tour of your facility. It's very impressive here. It's pretty cool, and I look up to this, and I hope to build something like this very soon here in Florida. But and I saw you had like a room there with people on the phone. Like, what's that? That takes a lot of balls to just call someone up and just go for it.
Yeah.
How do you find the people to do that? How do you recruit to the extent that you want to talk about?
You know, we have 1,000 employees. We have 260 here, 240 in Tucson, another probably 250 people, or maybe 400 people now in the real estate division. We pay great money.
It's compensating them handsomely.
Yeah, people don't want to make money. No, I don't want them working here.
So it's incentivized structure.
Yeah, exactly. So it's opportunity driven. It's like there's great opportunities here. It's a very strong culture. This is definitely a Grant Cardone environment. We do it my way, not their way.
I mean, I was walking around this morning, and I had my staffer with me, and you guys are playing music. Everyone's got the ties on. It's a I don't know if people realize just how it's a hard fate. It's almost like New York City in the 90s.
Well, that's for them. That's not really my thing back there. Like, hey guys, the music's too loud, right? These people they're not trying to sell somebody a piece of stock. They're talking to company owners. They just need energy and enthusiasm.
So it's really incentivized people that want opportunity and to make money, and that's why they're drawn to this environment.
I mean, look, the thing in your space is you're trying to attract people that are drawn by activism and journalism, right? So those people typically are not financially motivated.
Right. Is it healthy?
There's some like, I want to feel something.
Is it healthier for people to be financially motivated, do you think?
I think it is. I think it's extremely healthy for people to be financially motivated.
You might be right. I wonder why that is. Is it because we are motivated by self-interest and that's sort of healthy feeding into that? Or
I think people need to pay their bills.
People need to pay their bills.
And I think 76% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. So the education system's failed them. They've been indoctrinated to stay poor. They've been indoctrinated to give money to the banks. The most corrupt institutions on this planet have corrupted the individual to do the wrong things with money. We are not financially illiterate. We are financially indoctrinated to save money, good for Bank of America, to send money to Wall Street. There's $32 trillion sitting in retirement accounts, abandoned in a retirement account so BlackRock and State Street and Vanguard can DEI the world.
What people always ask me this question. I don't know the answers. I'm curious. Your opinion.
There's $12 trillion sitting in home equity because your mom and dad were convinced and sold the idea that a home is a great deal.
What is that?
When it's not.
What causes that? BlackRock, Vanguard.
This is a look. If I wanted to be one of the richest people in the world, I would convince you to save your money. I would convince you to buy a house. I would convince you to invest in a retirement account. And tell you that this is the way you're going to be free when in your later golden ages of life.
They don't want that.
Huh?
They don't want that. These banks, these.
No, they want you to save your money.
They want you to save. What do
They
you
want you to buy a house, and they want you to invest in their retirement account.
What do you advise people to do?
Never save any money. Use money. Money is not to be saved. It's a tool. It's like a screwdriver. Money's like a screwdriver. You don't save the screwdriver. You use the screwdriver. It only becomes useful when it's used. Same thing with money. Do not give money to Wells Fargo. They have $2 trillion of your fucking money right now. Okay? Don't give them the money. Put the money in the very thing that they end up lending money to.
So what should people be spending money on then? If you're
People shouldn't be spending money. People should be using their money to convert it into a real asset, not a paper asset. So like, what I do with my money, I can just tell people what I do with my money. Okay, I take my money, I earn money from Joe. Joe gives me some money, gives me $200. I'm gonna take the entire $200. I've been doing this since I was 30 years old, converting it to a real asset as fast as I can. And then I'm back to zero again. The real asset, hopefully in the future, will pay me something.
So you're reusing the money and investing it in a way in something
Yeah,
usable.
typically this is either a business, in myself, or in a piece of real estate that cash flows.
I see. Okay.
So I would do a journalist story. I'd raise a bunch of money, and I'd start building the O'Keefe Media.
Yeah, how would you do
empire.
it? Give me some advice on the record here.
Yeah. So what's the most money you've ever raised?
In one transaction?
No, in 1 year.
One individual?
A year.
Well, it was 501c3 fundraising, but 20, 23, 24 million.
Yeah. So I would get back to that target. I would possibly even privately, when you have your private moments, say, hey, my target's not 24 million, it's 240 million. I would 10x the target in your mind and say, okay, if I could get there, who would I go to? What would I say? And what would I give them?
Who would I go to?
Who?
What would I say?
It's always a who.
Who? What?
Money is always attached to a who.
To a name.
target. In your case, a subject.
It's fair enough.
Well, your subject's who you're doing the stories about, but your target would be who's going to fund.
And I think it's safe to use that word when it comes to what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
First Amendment has its own deal.
How much money do you think will be raised for the 2024 election? Both sides.
Oh my goodness, billions. I don't know exactly. Billions.
Hundreds of billions.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So if you took and said, I'm going to raise $240 million in 12 months, and that was your target, I would work with you to say, okay, is it possible? And you're gonna be like, dude, that's not even possible. I know how hard 24 million was. And then I'm gonna start saying, well, how much is gonna go to the election? 400 billion, maybe $1 trillion. Might be a $1 trillion spent on this next.
I believe it.
Could be easily.
But people feel safe.
Who's got it? Okay, what do I need to give them? What do I need to say to them? Why would they want to participate in this? Do I need to chop up O'Keefe Media and give them pieces of it?
Yeah.
Maybe.
That maybe so.
Okay.
Or maybe it's not a profitable endeavor, but
maybe it is. But that's not sexy.
Not sexy.
That's not sexy. Let's make it profitable.
Because I've heard people say, well,
why can't we make it profitable? Why can't journalism be profitable?
If anyone figures it out, they'll be a billionaire.
And
I haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah.
No one's. I mean, Elon's working on some things.
Because you're trying to get the guy. You're saying, why won't you talk to me?
Well, I think
you understand the difference.
No,
you're like, why won't you talk to me?
I do. I think you underestimate me a little bit.
I'm not underestimating you.
But I think that I have to focus on the journalism because
of course
content is king.
That's what I mean.
The content is king.
Well, I don't know about that.
You don't think so?
Distribution's king.
Founder of Viacom.
Distribution is more important than content.
You think so?
100%.
So you and I have a little disagreement on that?
If you get content and it doesn't get distributed, how kingly?
Well, I would. Fair enough. I would say the other flip side of that coin is that good content will distribute itself. I have seen. For example, you throw that Pfizer clip on Twitter X.
Yeah.
It just blossoms.
But if you couldn't distribute on Twitter X,
true statement. You need and thanks to Elon Musk, I think X is freer.
God bless Elon.
I think that it's freer than Jack Dorsey's platform because I was kicked
100%.
off on.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is what I really want to ask you about. This is what we're talking about right now: is the business model for journalism.
Yeah.
Because you say that you can be profitable. How does a media company achieve profitability? By people buying subscriptions? I mean, what do you think the right model?
I mean, you just got to start chopping into the target, right? To the $240 million. And so what I do is I take a target and I just start chopping it down into little pieces. I don't even come up with the product yet. I don't think about the product, the service, or what I'm going to sell them. I just start chopping it up. Okay, I could get 240 million people to give me $1. Target accomplished. It's going to be tough because I don't know how to get 240 million people to even know my name.
Which is the toughest part of that strategic process for you? Is it just finding what the target is? Is it figuring out how to do it?
Other people, selling other people on the idea.
Selling your colleagues or just
My
investors?
colleagues, the people around me.
People that work for you.
The people I sleep with.
And
I mean, like the people in your life, right? The people in your life, like, because people around you are going to talk you out of it.
that's not good. That's not healthy. So in other words,
People closest to you will prevent you from getting what you want.
so you have to surround yourself with the right people.
Yeah, but the people around you are like they're not thinking about this. Me and you are thinking about this. Fuck, you weren't even thinking about it. Now I'm like, dude, why don't you think about this? By the way, you could do a lot more good in the world if we actually did this.
Yeah, you're right. You can't save the world unless
You could
pay
become
the
a force against
yes,
big media.
100%.
Okay, because big media does not have a problem with this.
But
They do this.
But I find that what you do, it's what I do, it's like I'm not really political. I'm more of an artist. But in politics, people are like you said, they're chasing they're empty. They're trying to fill it's not money that motivates ideology.
Yeah.
It's a weird deal.
Yeah.
People are like, they have damage from their childhood and they're like getting into politics to be fulfilled.
Yeah, I agree.
Is that affect the strategy and what I do more so than what you do?
You need to quit being the journalist. If this target actually drives you enough.
I see. Yeah.
Right. You need to quit being the journalist. The artist, the artist would I consider myself an artist more than a businessman.
Okay.
Okay. Because what I'm doing is I'm taking a blank canvas, a target or a goal is basically it's an idea, and I'm trying to monetize the idea. I have to monetize the idea. I have to monetize the movie. I have to monetize the journalism. I have to monetize the activity. Otherwise, the activity will cease to exist. And so what I'm trying to figure out first is, okay, could I get 240 million people to give me $1? Well, all I got to do is get 240 million people to know you. Probably got to get 2 billion people to know you to get 240 million people to give you $1.
And how do you go about doing something like that, generally speaking? Advertising?
You'd have to blow up. You'd have to blow up your stories, which means you can't do one story anymore.
You got to do stories constantly.
You have to be doing a story in Tucson. You have to be doing a story in D.C. You'd have to be doing a story on this guy I was telling you about. Like, you got to be like,
you got to be doing stories constantly.
Dude, you'd have to be scaling this out. Now it's no longer about you. You are going to become the mogul now.
Yeah.
Not the journalist.
And do you ever find in business, like with what you do, that people want to be you? In other words, no one can be you. You're doing something special, but people perhaps want to be Grant Cardone as opposed to work for you, or how does that work in your business? Or are people trying to create their own empires?
No, they're trying to create their own empires.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we do 100 live events a year.
100. Are you there yourself?
No, I'm not at all of them, but I'm at most of them. I was working Friday. I worked Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all weekend. My team works all weekend. These guys were all in here Saturday and Sunday.
Well, a lot of people. I mean, it's hard to find people that will work weekends.
No, it's not when you do this.
Not when you do.
Who will work?
You find the people who are willing.
Who wants to play this game with me?
I see.
Not because you got to quit saying it's hard to find, right? Because then you can't find.
It's easy to find.
No, you got to say I'm looking for a red Corvette.
I see. Set the expectations.
They're impossible to get. Fuck it. I'm looking for a red Corvette. I was trying to buy a G-Wagon before the end of the year because I wanted the tax write-off. Mm-hmm. And somebody said, so you can't get the G-Wagon. I'm like, bro, come on. There's got to be a G-Wagon in America that I can get before the end of the year. I've done this my whole life. It's impossible.
But I mean, you know what it's like. People around you, you said it to me yourself.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to tell you.
You can't do that. And the book I read,
look at all the stuff you've done.
Yeah, everyone always tells me I can't do it. Yeah, but then it's knowing what hill to die on, when to push back on the people, knowing when to compromise. The book I read on Elon Musk, I mean, that guy doesn't compromise at all.
Ever.
He sets an impossible goal. All of his staff say, I can't do that. And he says, do it anyway, you're fired.
It's a leader. It shows you about the value of an individual and leadership.
It does. Not an easy thing to do in this world with the entitled society. A lot of these young people, man. I mean, I've hired a lot of people and I've fired people.
Yeah.
And I've found that perhaps, maybe it's where I'm hiring, but there's a lot of entitlement out there.
Yeah.
And you just avoid those people.
No, I mean, we get them and then we get rid of them.
Right.
So we flush.
You just immediately.
Yeah, I mean, you can't bring people into an organization without letting people go.
Right. But I think you're right. I think you have to be an entrepreneur to do what I do. I didn't think that I was going to be a CEO. I just wanted to do the store, but then I realized in order to do the store, I have to be one.
Yeah.
and it's trying to figure out that.
When did you realize it?
I was sitting in my dad's attic on federal probation, and I had to do the story. I'm like, I can't be up all night editing video. I have to hire an editor, but in order to hire an editor, I need $75,000.
Yeah.
But to get the $75,000, I have to ask someone for it.
Yeah.
And then I got sued. I'm like, now I need a lawyer. And I was like, so I got lawyer, editor.
Yeah.
I have to have a little company. I swear to God, this is what it was like. And then I thought to myself, do I want to be in Santa's workshop all alone, working all day and all night? No, I need a team.
Yeah.
But to have a team,
You need money.
Well,
Because they need money.
Well, I think I need to be a good leader
Uh-huh.
because my team has to respect me.
Yeah.
And here's a question I have for you. These are just broad questions about management.
Yeah.
Does leadership and management go hand in hand? So in order to be a good leader, do you also have to be a good manager?
No, they're different. I think
Different.
they're different, The leader, like I'm a micromanager.
You are?
Oh, 100%. Fuck.
So is that what is that like every day? You're meetings.
Elon Musk is a micromanager. Mm-hmm. He slept on the factory. He admits to it.
My board attacked me for that. They said James is a task manager.
You got bad people around you, dude.
Right.
You hired good people. Somebody made them bad. Good people are good. Most people want to do good. They want to be part of a team.
You think most people are good?
Oh, 100%. Very, very, very small percentages. We own 12,000 apartments. I could tell all 12. If the law was passed today that you don't have to pay your rent, 95% of them would still pay their rent.
People are generally decent. They're corrupted by the people around them or the organization that they're in.
100%. Mm-hmm. Or they got a bad situation. Maybe they got a situation. Yeah, I can't pay right now. But most people are good.
So Elon Musk.
But the leadership thing, like Elon's like, I'm going to Mars. That's not management. That's leadership.
Right.
It's a big idea. We're going here. Now he's got to keep inspiring everybody to go there. Managing is, hey, fix that rocket. That thing's wrong. You didn't.
That's what Elon does.
100. He does them both.
When I read the book, what I noticed is that he's in there sleeping under the desk
when he had to.
To set the example for his troops.
When he had to, he was in there. I don't know that he was in there to set the example. I don't believe that.
Both, perhaps.
I think he was in there to fucking make sure the project got done because he was going to go bankrupt if he didn't. He was economically urgent. Right? Like when you came out of your attic is because economics were forcing you to.
Forcing me, yeah.
They forced you. When they let you go at your board, when that whole thing, when they pulled the rug on you, dude, you were forced to confront economics again.
I was forced to confront.
And I'm just saying, put that up front. This should be up front. It should be the first thing. People are going to high school and college saying, don't worry about the money. Learn something first. No, you should worry about the money and then figure out what the fuck you're going to learn to fund the thing you're going to learn. Because we have $1 trillion worth of college debt, and the kids didn't even know what they're fucking going to school for, right? You got people talking about entitlement. People get a job and then they buy a house. I'm like, you don't even have any money. Why are you buying a house? Because I deserve a house. No, you don't deserve anything. Like, you're lucky you have a job. You're lucky you live in America. Why do you have to go buy a house? This is a scam, okay? I need to save some money now. No, you don't. You need to risk your money when you're young. You need to not ever have money.
Would you advise people take the money for a liberal arts degree and start a business, for example? Not spend money on a liberal arts degree?
I would tell 95% of all people going to colleges to drop out today.
Yeah, and use the money.
You just traded 4 years. You paid 4 years at 40 grand a year. Mm-hmm. That's 160 grand. Could have been earning 60. That's 240. It cost you 400 grand to go to school for 4 years. To have a job to learn about a job that probably won't even exist in 2020.
Well, most people are generally afraid. Is that a safe statement? They're not willing to take risks. That's what I've seen in my life. Have you seen similar? Or because you said people are generally good.
We won't even let anybody do anything.
But you're leading a movement, it seems to me, to train people how to be financially literate.
I homeschool my kids, okay? Yeah. We homeschool the kids. We don't want them around your kids. I don't want my kids around your kids. Your kids are corrupted by Instagram and
Do your
TikTok.
kids have friends?
Yes, they have friends.
But they're good
Most
people.
of their friends are adults.
Interesting.
Okay, so they will be attracted to they're hanging around wisdom, not idiots. Now I tell them, hey, most don't even trust all the adults.
You tell them this.
Yeah, but my 14-year-old kid's got it. We got to send him that video. She's got a plan how to become a millionaire. She's spoken to 34,000 people, wrote her own script when she was 10 years old.
Do they have Instagram on their devices?
Yeah, they do. She called me the other day and says, I'm deleting my Instagram. It's not good for me anymore.
It was her own decision.
Yeah, her decision. We had a nanny that was helping the kids. And the nanny said to my kids, this is when they're young, 4 and 5 years old, hey, be careful. The kids are playing, jumping off of something. I'm like, do never, if you say that again, if you tell my kids to be careful again, I'm going to fire you. She said it again. I said, boom, get your shit, get out of here.
So it's
My kids need to learn how to be dangerous. I want my kids to be dangerous. I want my kids to be able to communicate with anybody, talk to anybody, not be scared of you. They might not know what you're talking about, but they should be able to talk to you and listen and communicate with you.
But I see people in this country are very afraid.
They're afraid, bro, because we educate them to be afraid.
We educate them to be afraid.
We educate, we indoctrinate kids to be afraid.
In high school, college.
Be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful.
What
Don't
percentage
touch
of that
That's
is
not your,
what percentage of that is parenting?
that's parenting.
What percentage
The
is social media?
The parents are scared.
Why?
The parents are scared, dude, because their parents told them, be careful.
Where
Don't
is,
talk to
where is
strangers.
this fear coming from?
Look, go back to when your people came here from Ireland, right? When your people came here, they fucking leave the Italians alone.
Yeah.
Like everybody's scared of everybody.
Everyone's scared.
Like it ain't racism, dude. It's fear. Fear is instilled in the public. The world is flat. That was an old idea so that you wouldn't leave your community. They wanted to scare you and not leaving because they needed people to take care of the community. Don't go over there. These stories have been written for thousands of years. Don't go there, okay? You're going to fall off the planet if you go too far. I need you to stay. So fear's been used. Save your money, save for a rainy day, buy a house, hunker down. Every time we have a fear event, people go buy homes.
Why?
Because they're like, if we're going to die, COVID had happened during COVID. Fucking, there's the craziest thing. COVID happens, they can't move, but they're going to go buy a house and a car. But you can't even go anyplace. Because like the world's going to go to an end, I want to hunker down with my people.
I see.
So I introvert. I'm willing to give my money away to get my clothes. People were buying Gucci shoes during COVID with their $1,400 checks. For what? You can't even go anyplace, right? So they're using money, right, to try to buy solace in their life.
Fear is something I confront all the time with what I do.
I do too.
Literally, nonstop. And it's interesting. I find what you do fascinating, and I could learn a lot from you because you're right. I'm always in the story. But the whistleblowers I work with, they're going to give up their livelihoods. They're giving up everything. Border Patrol agents I'm talking to. And the question is, how do you financially incentivize a thing that's based upon kind of a heroism? Mm-hmm. Sort of think of it like a military guy jumping on a grenade. It's the highest form of love or sacrifice.
Yeah.
I don't know how that, and I'm working that. How is that compatible with an incentivizing? I don't know how that works.
I don't know that you need to incentivize the storyteller.
I see.
I think his gratification is I'm getting this off.
Yes, 100%.
He feels great about his contribution.
Contribution.
This guy is the guy that's going to fund it. There's so much money on this planet.
Yeah.
You getting this money from this planet is nothing.
I think you're right. I think
particularly for the work you're doing, because I ain't gonna go do the bullshit you're doing. Get on a fucking bus, drive down to Tucson, have some guy. I ain't doing that.
It's not easy.
And you're probably not gonna do what I do, right? So I'm gonna always pay somebody else. I'm not gonna give a massage, but I'm gonna pay somebody to give me one.
Well, I think I love putting myself in harm's way. It's weird. I'm wired that way.
Yeah.
But I also do love closing. I've done it.
Yeah.
Not to the extent you have. You're at a different. But I've done it at the $1 million, $2 million level.
Yeah.
And it's very satisfying.
Yeah.
To have a vision and to ask.
And somebody's going to support you in your cause. It feels good that they're like, yeah, I'll fund you.
But you know what I've also found in sales? I'm talking about political fundraising now.
Yeah.
Most people, even the best ones, they struggle to actually make the ask.
Yeah.
Have you seen that too?
Yeah, 100%.
They get scared. They get unwilling. I don't want to give an amount of money. Is it always important to give an actual amount?
100%, man.
You have to say it.
I want you to help me
With
fund
X.
this project, and I need it now.
Why are people always afraid to give the
They've
amount?
been indoctrinated around money.
Been indoctrinated.
So they'll never ask for enough. By the way, it's probably one of the biggest single reasons people don't raise more money for their
Because they don't make the ask?
No, you asked for too little.
You asked for too little.
You asked, and then you asked for too little, and it was offensive.
So if you want 25 grand, you should ask for $250,000?
No, I'm just saying, like, just be sure that if somebody really wants to make a difference, and you're talking to a guy worth $1 billion, and you ask him for 25, if he's a smart guy, he's going to be like, 25 doesn't change anything. I've seen this. I've raised
I've also
100.
seen a lot of rich people who are stingy.
Yeah, well, maybe you're asking for too little.
Maybe I'm asking for too little.
Because why would I want to give you 25 grand when I know that can't change anything?
So it's almost like they're testing you in a way sometimes.
I don't think so. I think they're like 25 grand is a waste of money. 2 million, we can make a difference.
That's right. That's right. Well, Thanks, Grant, for your time
Thank you, Grant,
for me. Nice to meet you in person.
Hey, good to
Nice
meet you in person, man.
Thank you.
See you on X.
In today's unpredictable world, it's all about being prepared for who knows what they have in store for the next pandemic. Our friends and supporters at The Wellness Company have designed this unique prescription-based medical emergency kit that is packed with 8 potentially life-saving prescription-only medications, including Z-Pact and ivermectin. Save $45 per kit when you order using the code OMG. Go to twc.health/OMG today.